Hey guys, it's Hart. Going to be breaking down this 8-game NBA site here on DraftKings, talking through some of my early look core plays, building a potential lineup with those core plays, all the good stuff, breaking it down game by game. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the breakdown. Before I get into the breakdown, I just want to do a quick tilt. So if you don't like tilts, fast forward like 2 or 3 minutes, but last night may have been the most frustrating night ever for me in DFS. So first off, my best ball team, one out of the two of my teams advance. The team that advances, obviously, 6 players. 6 players have been injured and either haven't played in this round or they've missed multiple games. And it's not like the bottom of the bench guys. It's Kyle Kuzma. It is Luka Doncic. It's Nurkic, who's been out pretty much the whole season. It's just that just made me so mad that I'm not going to go to the next round, which I should have because I have one of the best teams in my second round. But no, my whole team is injured and doesn't play. And they miss all the games. Second, Jokic easily hits his over on Prize Picks. Josh Giddey. All we need is 6 assists for the push. It's minus 175. When have you seen a prop, a bet that's been over 175, minus 175? You don't see it because they don't exist because the odds are too good. What happens? 3 assists at half. Okay, we're halfway there for the push at least. 0 assists the entire second half plus overtime. 0. The dude that is a pass first, assist first guy will go out there and shoot 8 of 35. We'll just continue to shoot. Even though SGA is having a great shooting night, Giddey's going to go out there and just continue to shoot. Not get a single assist in the second half. Not one. Minus 175 to hit the push at least. And he goes for 0 assists in the second half. And then my lineup. I missed cash by 11 points. Why? Shaden Sharp sucks. Dude gets outscored. How do you get outscored by Matisse Thybulle? Really? Matisse Thybulle, the worst offensive player in this league, is going to outscore you fantasy point wise. And why are we starting Archie Diacono? Why? Why is Chauncey Billups starting to Ryan Archie Diacono over Shaden Sharp? Cam Reddish was fine, 38. DiVincenzo, one of the best GPP plays of the day, starts 3.6% ownership, 5.4K. Now, you want to know what's funny? He had 12 fantasy points in that first half, 6 in the second half. Really? 6 fantasy points the whole second half? Brandon Clark, another one of the best GPP plays of the day. 9.4% starts. What happens? 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes, plays 8 first half minutes. And I think he had like 8 first half fantasy points. What happens? 4 in the second half. Another guy, 2 guys that got less than 6 fantasy points the entire second half of a game. Embiid was fantastic, 74. SGA, 14%. I got him 64 fantasy points. Horton Tucker, super chalky, but he still got me there. And then Kessler, was surprised he wasn't a little bit chalkier, 47. The whole bottom of my lineup was great, and Cam Reddish, but 3 guys had absolute floor games to absolutely screw me. Let's look at who got first place in the 15K to first. What'd they get? Oh, they got Ivy. They got Ivy, a ceiling Ivy game in 31 minutes, 9 of 13. Caldwell Pope. They get a ceiling game from Caldwell Pope. 34 minutes, did not miss a shot, did not miss a 3. Cam Reddish, fine play. Olenek, not sure why he was this owned with Laurie back and pretty much the whole team back, but he is an okay play. 30 fantasy points. Embiid, SGA. Oh, Nasir Little, that's right. He'll shoot 10 of 19, 5 of 9 from 3, go for 45 because he gets 5 blocks and steals. Okay. Oh, and another total absolute ceiling game, 9 of 11, 21, 18, 2, 1, and 3. Okay. Yeah. I can never get the low in plays to, have a great game. They'll just always bust. Just absolutely frustrated. All right, guys. Sorry about that tilt. As I said, if you didn't want to hear it, you should have skipped. But it absolutely pissed me off. Just one time, please. Just one time. Can I just run one good? Can't even talk. Run good once. But Moving on to this 8-game slate, we're going to build a potential lineup with some early core plays. So starting with the Knicks versus Washington, I like this gaming environment. There is some news on the Washington side that definitely helps out some of these plays. But on the Knicks side, my only interest really is going to be in Randle and Brunson. Both of them should play at least 35 minutes, closer to 40. Brunson's been a little bit better, especially scoring the ball recently. He's been on a great streak. I don't love the price tag of 8.8, even with him being super good at scoring recently. It just feels a little bit too pricey, but I do think he's viable. I prefer getting to Julius Randle. Just seems a little bit safer. A couple floor games here, 42, 42, 43 going to the All-Star break. But, going against this Washington team, he should be able to have his way. Josh Hart, RJ Barrett are fine in the mid-range. I do prefer getting to RJ Barrett. We know he has a solid ceiling. It's just, can he get the minutes right? 34, 24, 32. Minutes are all over the place. So that's really just the only downside with him. If Robinson's in, if he's alpha minutes limit, sure, you could take a shot on him in GPPs. If he's going to be on a minutes limit or if he's out, we could definitely look to Hartenstein and Sims to be the centers, split it. I mean, they look okay. And then off the bench, quickly, Grimes will be there as value plays. Don't think there's a need to get to them, but you could land on them if you want to. Moving on to Washington. The big news is Beal. He did not, I don't think he practiced the past 2 days, so it's looking like he won't be able to play. But just keep an eye out on that. If he's out, love me some Kuzma, love me some Porzingis. I'd rather go to Kuzma because of that price tag difference, but they're both definitely in play. And then it opens up the secondary guys. Like, I really like Denny there at 5,200 off the bench. He should see at least mid-30s minutes. He's usually decently productive. So I think he looks very solid as well. And then I don't mind getting to one of these guards, whether it's a DeLon Wright, whether it's Morris, who should see close to 30 minutes. Going to be just more assist opportunities for him. I'm assuming they'll start Kispert for Bradley Beal at 3,300. You can do it, but he's been terrible. And then maybe you can take a dart throw on a guy like Kendrick Nunn, who maybe sees closer to 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more, depending on how this game goes. So there's definitely a good amount of pieces from Washington you can get to. On the Cleveland side, kind of the same thing. Everyone's kind of priced about right. Prefer Garland or prefer Mitchell just because of that upside. Garland, Mobley are there. Mobley's coming off a pretty solid scoring game there, 48 fantasy points, 31 real life points. Allen, I still think he's viable. It's just sometimes the minutes are not really there for him. LeVert off the bench, okay value because Rubio is now back. You could definitely take a shot on Rubio. Should see anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. Okoro will get some minutes. He saw 20, just not super high scoring or high usage. Seti saw 27, so it looks like maybe Seti's going to get that backup run. It did help that Rubio is out, so maybe a few less minutes for Seti, maybe around 20-ish. But yeah, that's really it. Moving on to Atlanta. For the Atlanta side, another team that everyone's kind of priced about right. I do like Trae Young in tournament settings. DeJounte Murray is there. We know he's a ceiling. Capella has a ceiling as well. It's just the minutes have not been great. He's been at 30 or less pretty much the past 3 weeks. Collins is out, so that should help for minutes for a guy like Hunter. Sadiq Bey should probably start 4,600. I think he started one of the last 2 games, did not play a ton of minutes. He's okay. I don't expect him to be heavily involved. Bogdan should see maybe some more minutes off the bench because John Collins is out. Okongwu will split the center minutes with Capella. He's there, should play around 20-ish minutes. So just not a lot of standout plays here on the Atlanta side. Maybe my favorite play might be DeAndre Hunter, just because the minutes are pretty consistent. He's been pretty aggressive recently as well. Moving on to Miami and Milwaukee. Pretty gross game here. Bam's priced about right. Same thing with Jimmy. I do like Tyler Hero. If he's not going to be on a minutes limit, I think he's my favorite play. Should be playing close to 40 minutes. Going to shoot the ball a ton. It just really comes down to if he can hit a shot. If he does, we know he's a pretty high ceiling. So right now, I do like Tyler Hero, even in this tough matchup. Because it's looking like there won't be a Giannis. So that really helps out the whole team here on Miami. So I'm going to throw Tyler Hero in there for right now. Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, all these secondary pieces, don't think there's a need to get to them anymore now that this team is pretty much fully healthy besides Kyle Lowry. Victor, if he's not on a minutes limit, I'd like him if he's going to play close to his normal 25 to 30 minutes. But I'm assuming he will be just because he missed a ton of games there. And I do think Kevin Love might be my favorite play. It'll be interesting to see if they start him. If they don't, I'm assuming he'll get at least 15 minutes off the bench. Now, we don't know, but he did go to the Heat to look for a more expanded role. So I'm assuming they'll play at least 15 minutes of him off the bench. At 3,000, I think that's just way too cheap there for a guy who should see 15 minutes, maybe more if he's shooting the ball well. So I do like Kevin Love. It just, kind of risky about the minutes. On the Milwaukee side, it's looking like it probably won't be Giannis. So that means guys like Drew Holiday will step up. Bobby Portis is back, so he'll play. I'm assuming he'll be on some sort of minutes limit. So I don't think there's a need to get to him at that price tag. Brook Lopez, 6,700. He will step up, coming off the best game of the season for him. But I just don't like it with these other guys back, like Bobby Portis. I think my favorite player would be Middleton there at 6,300, but I think he's still going to be on a minutes limit. So just a little bit riskier there. Not a lot of standout plays here, even with Giannis off the court. Connaughton is doubtful, but they do have Jay Crowder coming in who should play. Allen's there, Carter's there, Ingles is there. So just not a lot to like on the Milwaukee side. Just all secondary options as of right now. Moving on to Brooklyn and Chicago. Brooklyn side, Mikal Bridges is a fine GPP play. I mean, he's priced up about right, so it should keep his ownership down. I do like Dinwiddie a good amount here, coming off a game where he only shot 4 times. Not really sure why. But yeah, I mean, he should see close to 10 shots, if not more, a game. We saw this stretch here, 59, 57.5, 36, 38, 48. So we know Dinwiddie has a pretty big ceiling. So I do like him against the Bulls. He's done well against them this season. And I do like Claxton at 6,400. Coming off some pretty poor games here. The minutes were down, 29 foul trouble for 23 game blew out, and then 25 foul trouble, 5 fouls. So bunch of low minute games because of foul trouble. Before that, he was seeing 30 plus minutes, 37, 36, 33, 47, 46, 44. So now we get a great spot here against the Bulls. So I do like Claxton, probably my favorite play. Rest of the team is just kind of there. No real standouts to me. They can go like 10 deep, so it's just really hard to get to these guys with any confidence for them to pay off their salaries. On the Bulls side, really the standout play to me is going to be DeMar. His price has finally dropped down. He really hasn't had a huge game since that Portland game when he went for 50. Otherwise, he's been pretty disappointing until kind of the end of January. So pretty much for the whole month of February, he really hasn't done much. So I do like DeMar DeRozan, a bounce back spot here against Brooklyn. Even a team, with some great defenders, I do think DeMar should be able to have his way. So I'm going to throw him in there for right now, but I don't know if he's going to stay in my lineup. But the rest of the team, just kind of there, more secondary options. Pat Bev is back, so maybe that hurts guys like Io, and I don't think we'll see Daniel Terry in the lineup anymore. So, yeah, not a lot of interest in Chicago. Charlotte, Minnesota, great game environment here. The mother ball, don't mind him as a spin-up play. 11K seems a little bit too much, but he's been absolutely balling recently. And that's really it. The rest of the team, Rozier is questionable. Oubre should be able to play. Oubre's back, so that's going to take out a lot of usage from guys like Rozier, even affected LaMelo a little bit. Washington, Hayward. They do have. I thought they had someone else. But yeah, I mean, just not a lot to like here. Everyone's kind of priced about right. Oubre does really hurt the usage of a bunch of other guys. So in terms of the centers, you can take a shot on a guy like Nick Richards at 4,000, but he's going to split the center minutes, see about 15-ish. Mark Williams should start. So yeah, not a lot to like on the Charlotte side. I do have a good amount of interest in this Minnesota side. Anthony Edwards looks like one of the best GPP plays of the day. 9,100. Should have a ton of usage. I do like Rudy Gobert. He was great for us last game. 48 fantasy points, 17 and 19. And we get another great matchup here versus Charlotte, a team who shoots the ball a ton. Should be a ton of rebounding opportunities for Rudy Gobert. I like him a good amount at 7,200. As much as I don't like to say that, I do really like him there. Right now, I'm going to take out DeRozan just to help out the lineup. But yeah, should be a ton of rebound opportunities for him. It really helps out that Mike Conley is there. Should get him more involved in the offensive side of things as well. So I really like Rudy Gobert. I think Kyle Anderson looks like a great play at 5,100 as well. Going to throw him in there. We know he's a huge ceiling in GPPs. Should play close to 30 minutes, as you saw, almost 40 fantasy points. So I like them both a good amount. The rest of the team, just more secondary options. Sure, you could land on McDaniels, take a GPP dart throw on Naz Reid. A guy like Taurean Prince could be a value play. But that's really it for me. It's really just the main two guys. Houston, Golden State, another great game environment here. Sengun looks great. It's 7,500 if you think this game stays close. Should have a ton of usage with KPJ out and Jalen Green. The rest of the team, Martin looks fine. Tate looks decent. He should start. Eason off the bench should play a decent amount of minutes. So there's a good amount of options here for this Houston side to throw in. It just really depends on kind of what the starting lineup's going to look like. I do like Josh Christopher if he starts. If he comes off the bench, he's a little bit riskier. But yeah, a good amount of interest in this Houston side. So right now, I guess I'm going to throw out Sengun in that spot. And then we'll pay down for a guy like Kyle Anderson. We'll just go a little bit riskier here with Tari Eason. Gives us a little bit more salary space. Moving on to Golden State. I do like Poole and Clay. Their prices did come down. You just got to hope this game stays close. Draymond, Wiggins might be back. They said he's without a timetable, so I'm not sure why it says he's questionable. He should be out once again, so that means DiVincenzo probably will start. Another great GPP play at 5,500. But if I play him, I'm assuming he'll get like 10 fantasy points. Looney off the bench should play around 20-ish minutes. He can get you there in that amount of time, but don't feel great about it. Kuminga may start. He looks like an okay play. It's really just kind of either you're going to get to Poole, Thompson, or DiVincenzo. Otherwise, not a lot of interest in me. You could take a shot on Ty Jerome there. He's been productive. Obviously, it helps that the Warriors kind of tanked the last 10 minutes of the game, so he played a little bit more minutes, but should see around close to 20-ish minutes. He's been productive, so you can definitely take a shot on him if you think the game blows out. Moving on to OKC and Phoenix. Super tough matchup here for OKC, but so that means guys like Giddey and SGA will be decent contrarian options, so I do like them a good amount. Williams is solid play there. Lou Dort saw 36 minutes, so it looks like his minutes are back. If they are going to be 30 plus, it did help that there was overtime, but if you see 30 plus minutes, Lou Dort, I think it's a little bit too cheap there at 4,500. That's really it. Don't want to take a shot on any of these other value plays. Kendrick Williams was the best one out of all of them, but they have, Sarge, they have Jalen Williams, they have JRE. Just not a lot to like there in OKC from the value plays. On the Phoenix side, Durant's not back yet, so I really like Booker there. It's 8,700. He looks great. He finally played 35 minutes, so it looks like the minutes limit is off. Ayton looks good as well. Should be able to feast on this front court. Paul, more of a contrarian play. Okogie does look really solid there if he's going to be playing 35 plus minutes. Now, I don't know if we can trust that. Campaign might be back, so that might hurt the rotation a little bit. Craig, Ross, Warren, Lee. There's a lot of guys they can throw in there, so I don't know if they're going to continue giving Josh Okogie 35 minutes. But right now, you can definitely ride that out with how well he's been playing. And then moving on to Sacramento and the Clippers. Sacramento side, it's really just going to be Sabonis for me. I think Fox is just a little bit too pricey for me. And then the wings, as I always mentioned, you can get to them in GPPs. Herter, Barnes, Murray, Monk. They're going to bench the worst playing player, which has usually been Herter for a guy like Monk if Monk's doing well. So there's that risk. Davis did have a solid game off the bench last game. Don't know if you want to chase that. But yeah, not a lot to like here on the Sacramento side besides Sabonis. And then moving on to the Clippers side. I do like Kawhi Leonard a good amount. I do like Paul George a good amount. Now, adding Russ to the team, not really sure how many minutes he will play. Looks like he might start. That does hurt the usage of these guys, but I still expect them to have a decent ceiling. If I had to take a shot, it would be on a guy like Kawhi Leonard. Like his usage and scoring should be pretty consistent, even with Russ. I could see Paul George taking more of a backseat in terms of playmaking. Powell should be fine off the bench, should play close to 30 minutes. He's been great this season. I don't mind him in a GPP setting. Plumlee should start with Zubac out. Not sure if he'll get like 30 minutes. Maybe they'll play him like closer to 25. But if he plays any more than that, I think he's way too cheap there for 100. I know a center who can get easily involved whether it comes to score making or playmaking, scoring, passing, all that stuff. He's should be a great play there. So I'm gonna throw him in there for Rudy Gobert for right now. And then I think Rudy could be a solid pivot play off a Sengun if you want to do that. And then in terms of the rest of the team, don't like much just because adding Russ kind of takes out these secondary pieces like a Man, like a Gordon, like a Bones. So it's just kind of the top two for me. Maybe you're going to take a shot on Powell, and I think Plumlee should be a pretty safe play. And that really does it for the slate breakdown in terms of filling out this lineup. Let's see here. I guess we could take out Tyler Hero, but I'm going to leave him in there for now. I like Hero. I like Edwards. I like Denny. Kevin Love is a solid value play. Plumlee should be good there. Eason's a little bit more of a riskier play. We don't know the starting lineup right now, but I do think he should see, at least 20 minutes off the bench here now that those guys are out. We know he's a solid upside, so I do like him. Sengun, going to be super popular, but if this game stays close, it's one of those things where Sengun should, absolutely feast. We've seen him have huge games, so I do like him a good amount. And then at the guard position, 75 or 8,900 left over. You could get to Drew Holiday or Brunson. I don't mind those plays, but I think right now I'm going to throw in Devin Booker there. 8,700 going against OKC, should absolutely be able to feast. So I actually do like this lineup a good amount. Obviously, there's some injury news we kind of had to wait for, like the Brad Beal situation, which may take out a guy like Denny, to see if Plumlee's going to start. Kind of a few different situations, the whole Rocket situation, to see who's going to start, who's not going to start. So, yeah, that's the lineup for right now. Make sure to stay updated with me on Twitter at HardTFS and follow my free Patreon for updates on this lineup going forward today. Yeah, hope you guys liked the video. Check out my prize pick video later today, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.